And with that, I want to introduce you to someone that knows it backwards and forwards and sideways and inside out and is willing to share that with you so that you can get to that point. So let's bring back up Vance Morris. Give him a hand, will you?
Thanks.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate it. All right, so I have a very unscientific study that I performed, and this is really sad. See, I was at my local hardware store. It's one of the big box stores. And when I was standing in line, it was probably about 8:30 in the morning, and I am by all means not handy with any tools. Specifically, I do not touch electricity, I do not touch plumbing, and I barely can hang a picture in the wall. Plaster wall, who came up with plaster walls? You can't hang a picture in a plaster wall. It's nearly impossible. I love drywall. At any rate, so I've got my little basket of tools. I'm going to do some gardening, and I've got my stuff in front of me. I'm about the third or fourth one in line. And I notice, just because this is what I notice, that the cashier was not saying anything to any of the people as they were checking out. They were saying nothing. They didn't get a good morning. They didn't get a did you find anything? Hi, how are you? Welcome to Oppo. Or I don't want to say their name because, you know, Home Depot. Oh, sorry. But at any rate, they were there and they were doing the checkout. And so I decided I was going to watch and I'm going to do a scientific study how many people she would ignore by the time they got up to me. Can you believe the three people in front of me? Not one word was uttered out of this cashier unless the customer said something first. Now that's atrocious if you ask me. So I'm going to test this thing. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to get up there and I'm going to not say a word and see how long it takes for her to say something to me. Now mind you, the supervisor is not standing but 2 registers away, leaning on a pole, holding up the building. Rule number 1 at Disney, you don't lean. They constructed the buildings to withstand a hurricane. There is no leaning at Disney. There should be no leaning in your businesses either. So I get up to the cashier and I say nothing. Now how long does it usually take to check out? Not at the grocery store, but you got, you know, half a dozen items. You're going to be there about 2-3 minutes. Can you imagine 2-3 minutes of pure silence staring a stranger in the face? And I made a point of staring right at, you know, like you wanted her to say something, like, nothing. I couldn't get anything out of her. And so, the manager could have easily come in and corrected the situation, but decided to do nothing. That's criminal. So, I mean, if you're letting stuff go by, you're condoning it as correct. So if you don't correct it and correct it immediately, you're condoning bad behavior as correct, and that's a key point. We don't want to do that. You want to make sure you address it. So I went on to a few more stops that I had to make. And I was going to do this same test in a number of other places. And what happened was I went to a couple of small mom and pop places, a couple of big box stores. And of the 9 establishments I went to that day, 9, 5 of them completed my transaction without uttering one word. 5 out of 9, that's more than half. Now, you want to hear the scary thing? I'm going to read this to make sure I get it. Of the 5 businesses where I had a wordless transaction, 3 of them, so what's that, 3/5? That's a lot. I can do math in my head. How much? 60%. Their stocks are declining and have been in decline for the last 18 months. I checked. 18 months of straight stock declines, and these are the 3 people. Now, out of the 4 that did have a great transaction, and a couple of them were a big box store, and a couple of them were mom and pop, but out of the 4, 3 of them have seen their stocks gone up. So does that tell you anything about the gravity of what customer service can do to your bottom line? Yep, give me a yes. All right, thank you.